So what we're going to do now, we're going to prepare the soil to plant a very good tree, which is designed, which is bred in UK's nursery. It's actually an apple tree that's designed to be planted in the northern sector of England, which means it'll take the cold. We're in the southern part of England, so it'll grow even better. So already at 3 years old, you can see the apples forming already. Right? So there wasn't much room left in the yard, but I decided to sacrifice a bit of the second bed we've got. I'm going to plant the tree in the middle here, in the middle of the bed. The bed's about 20 feet long by about 10 feet across. So I'll be planting the apple tree in the middle here, and then around it, I'll be putting compost, and I'll be planting courgettes, pumpkin, tomatoes, Brussels sprouts, and whatever else can be planted. At the moment, you can see a bit of a lump here, you can see there. So I'm going to use the rake to prepare the ground so that the apple tree can go in at the right level. Okay, so here we go, like that. Okay, now this has been prepared with lawn clippings and sawdust and everything else. So about there is about right. Okay, now we remove any rubbish like that. That's not compostable. That's a bit of plastic, so you get rid of that. Put that here. So as you can see, it's very rich soil. It's been there for 8 years. That soil is now 4 feet deep and black with compost. It is superbly organic. The worms on there are about 3 inches long and about as thick as my small finger, on half of it. So as you can see there, look at the color, black, right? All right, so now, okay, now, as you can see there, so the rest of it can be sorted out later. You can see the sawdust, right? Now the sawdust is from an oak tree. I was given the sawdust by one of our friends, so to mix with the lawn clippings and mix with the compost, so it gives really rich oxygen. And also the sawdust has got lignin. Lignin is a component for wood. So when you plant the apple tree in this, the apple tree will grow its wood from the lignin we put in the soil. Get the idea? So I'm going to put the rake down here now, because that's done its job. Okay. Then I'm going to show you an Australian invention. I know it was an Australian invention, but it was copied by somebody. That's called a root slayer. See? Look at that. That is an amazingly ingenious design of a shovel. You can see it's sharp here, sharp here. It's got like a space here you can put your foot in there to dig into. Plus, you've got a special handle in there. It's very easy on the back. And you can see how effective that's going to be in a minute. So I'm going to dig the hole, instead of having a normal shovel which will break your back eventually, by using that, watch carefully, watch this. So that goes in easy, right? So about there is about center of the bed, right? So I'm leaving room for around there and here to put the zucchini, the courgettes, and other plants like cauliflower, beetroot, right? So now what we do here, and by the way, this is one of our friends. She's helping me to grow the apple tree. I'm teaching her at the age of 30 to do proper, correct, 100% organic gardening. You love it again, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so she's been helping me in the afternoon. So I'm going to dig that. Watch carefully. Look at that. See how easy that is? Like that. And I'm going to dig it like that. And then you can see it's easy on the back. You see that? Amazing, isn't it? Look how the soil's black.
Really black.
Really black, isn't it? That's taken 8 years to get to that colour. 8 years. Well worth it. So the idea is when you plant the apple tree, you've got to dig a hole twice as big as the root ball. Yeah, that's right. So if you lift that for me, I'm going to show you. Lift it up, put it on the tip. Now that is what I call the root ball here. Okay, so when we dig the hole must be twice as big as that. Twice.
Twice as big.
And deeper by 6 inches.
Okay.
So twice as big as that and deeper by 6 inches. So this is flushing with the soil. Okay. And a little bit deeper, more recessed, so the water can get there and stay there. Get the idea?
Yeah.
Okay, so now, as you can see, very easy to get, isn't it? Now I'm in my 70s and I find it so much easier to dig with this. Normally people at 70 can't do that. They won't be able to dig that much. Now, have a look at that. So I'm getting there. You can't dig too deep, because otherwise it'll be too far below. But the idea is to make it deep enough. Okay? Now, getting there. Look at that colour, eh? Dark and black, isn't it? Okay, now. So what I'm doing that, tell people how you're finding this.
Really interesting. Really interesting. The little bits of knowledge and information that you're sharing, and why you're doing what you're doing.
Exactly. The gems. Now, you notice that? It's bigger than the pot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm almost there. You can see the pile of dirt that's come out of there. Okay, so that's going to go back in a minute, but for now, that soil has taken me 8 years of really hard work, but boy, is it paying off now. It's paying off big time. Okay, now I'm almost there. Okay, so now, okay, now let's try that. Now the idea is you've seen a hole. Have a look at the hole. You've seen the hole. Now the idea is you put this in like that. Okay, can you see that? That is perfectly plain.
Okay.
You see that? You want it a little bit more recessed, a bit up higher, but the idea is to keep it flush. Not too flush, maybe an inch below. Okay. The idea with it below, because the water then will go into it. Otherwise, if you get above, it'll run off. You see that? Now look how beautiful that looks. And look at the apples. This is 3 years old. All right? Now, watch what we'll do now. So when the soil, this is ready. Now, we've so Cherise has watered the plant on my behalf so that it can release the root system from the pot. You get the idea? Now, what we do next is watch carefully. We put some of this. This is wood. This is untainted wood, unpainted. Okay. Now that wood, right? That wood is not varnished. It's not tainted. It's all broken down into what I call lignin. You can see. I put that in there. See? Interesting, isn't it? Like that. You get the idea? And then you put that. That's all you need. See? And then you put that in like that. Eventually, that wood, with the worm system and all of that, that wood will break down and will feed lignin into the root system of the plant. All right, so now the next thing we do is get the grass clippings like that. So the wood is going to provide lignin. This is lawn clippings, right? Lawn clippings from an organic lawn, and also leaves from a rose tree. I've mulched it with a mower, so it's now become mulch. You see that? So now that is ready to reduce the mulch into breakdown material, and that will give the actual moisture for the tree to then root into. Okay. Interesting, isn't it? So now we put that back up here. That's all we need. Okay. Like that. Now I'm just going to push that back in here. We're nearly there. Can you see that? Now that's got a perfect medium. It's got the wood bark like that. It's got the lawn clippings plus leaves. And then watch what I do, like that. Watch carefully. A little trick I'll show you. To make it easy on your back. Like that. Watch.
Oh wow, that was quick.
So instead of forcing it, use the edge of it. You can see the root system. You see the root system?
Yeah.
You see that? These are the root system there. And then the idea is you put it there, like that. Now, very important position for sun. Now, we know for a fact the sun comes from here in the morning at 8 o'clock. By 2 o'clock, it is here, like that. So you can see it there now, 2 o'clock. So you want the sun to be baking its rays into the center. So for example, you wouldn't put it like that, okay, like that, because it's not as many leaves. You see, you put it like, you can see, you can look at the tree, it's going to get more relief here.
Okay.
You see that? Now, of course, you've got to put the tree straight, because once it's in, you don't want it like that.
Yeah, of course.
You want it there, right? So now, if you step up here, we're nearly there. If you hang on to that for me, like that. Now, watch what I do. Now, I will use this. This is a false dandelion, which is growing. It's not it's not a dandelion, it's like a weed. That is now what we call green manure. Green manure, right? And then we shove that on the side.
Okay.
You see that? Like that. And then we bend over like that. We push that manure in here like that. You see that? Now, that will break down with nitrogen, and the root system will go and feed off that, right? And that'll give it additional oxygen, additional nitrogen. We must keep the stem straight. See, it's pretty well balanced in it. Can you see where it's going to get sun here, here, here?
Yeah.
And about 2 o'clock, it'll get this bit. Right, that's probably the perfect size there. And as it grows, the branch will project that way, that way, that way, and that way.
Okay.
Now, what I do then, I use that, it's fine. And I put that back in here, like that, you see? Amazing, isn't it? Okay. Now, pass me the rake, will you please? I'm just gonna, can you see how it was run so far? The rake, I'm just gonna use that as a tool. I'm just gonna backfill that. Now, some of it will stay behind, that's fine. They normally have knee pads, but it's all right for now. Can you see that? Now what you do, you take the rake and you go like that.
Press it down.
Press it down. You should do it this way so it doesn't hit the tree.
Yeah.
Otherwise the teeth might.
Yeah.
Like that. Okay. Interesting, isn't it? Now, can you see where it's a little bit out? So we will recenter it like that.
Yeah.
Now what we do now, we've got a little trick. So all like that. You have a heavy boot and you push it down like that. That's to release, to trap the oxygen where it belongs and leaves it there. That's your time, I think. So, here we go. Now, can you see? Now, we're almost finished. Now, I'm just going to push this with my boots. Afterwards, my boots will be full of mud, and I'll be able to take them off and wash them. These are Caterpillar gardening boots. Brilliant. Okay, so what do you think so far? Interesting?
Great. Yeah.
Now, can you see what we've achieved there? We've achieved a good level, just slightly below the round, you see? Slightly below, like that. Okay, like that. Now, what we do next, watch carefully, we get the rest of the timber, not all of it, the rest of it, like that. We move it like that, and then we put it here.
Okay.
You see that? We put it there like that. Okay. And it becomes like a triangle, like that. Okay, like that. And then we just not all of it, just enough, like that. Okay, get it? This is okay, push it in there, not waste anything. And then we put it like that as well. And a bit of that. And then we get the rest of this, like that, the rest of that dirt, and we put it like so.
Put it around it.
Around it.
On top.
On top, see?
Okay.
Like that. So there's then the timber will become the framework for the cloth that's going to go around it. You get it? So we're going to mount this as it grows better.
Yeah.
We're going to put like a framework.
Are you going to keep putting wood around it as it grows?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and the idea behind the wood stops the actual molds from running off.
Oh, I see.
You see? And then so then you can see where, okay, do you see like that? You can see that where that will feed in like that. And then, see that? See what's covered? That's it. Perfect. You got it. Then we take the rest of the grass clippings. See that? And then we're almost done. So what do you think?
Interesting.
Interesting, isn't it?
How you've layered it.
Yeah.
And why you're doing it.
That's right. Now, you can see there, that's pretty well straight, right? You know, you just double check it, make sure it's straight. Otherwise, you don't want it like that or like that.
Yeah.
You always to do it like that. And then what you do is you take that. Now, you don't put that against the tree. You put it there. Because it can burn the tree if it's too close.
Okay.
Because the tree's still young. So the bark's not strong enough yet. But for now, look at that. Beautiful, isn't it? You see that? So you keep it about that far away. Like that. You get it?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's it. You can put a bit more. Yeah. Like that. Now can you see how we've left a gap?
Yeah.
Now that's pretty enough of that. That's a mixture of leaves, lawn clippings, or timber. And then of course later on we'll give it a real good water with about maybe 2 or 3 gallons of water. We'll swap that with water, let it sink in. About every 3rd day, after that we'll put water into it.
Every third
Every
day.
3rd day, if it's warm.
Okay.
If it's warm and no rain, we put the
Every
water.
third day.
Every third. If it's like 20 degrees, 22 degrees, no rain,
Yeah.
we put the water in there. If it's raining heavy, we don't put it.
Okay.
We just let the rain do the job, or we put our own water.
Okay.
Now, the whole idea behind it, I had a real good think about this because I thought, well, if I put it in there, is it going to stop my vegetables from growing around it? No. Why? I'm containing this. It's an own square foot. So I'm feeding it in that square foot.
Yeah.
It will not go chasing for food if it's got food next to the root system.
That makes sense.
You see?
Yeah.
So because it's next to the root system, the food will then be there, and the apple tree will work off that, and I'll keep feeding around the trunk till it's very big. That's it. And then all around it here, all that black soil, we can put courgettes. All right, we can put zucchini, I call it. We can put eggplant. And you know why we do that?
Why?
Because apple needs pollinating. You get it? Now, courgette's got a beautiful flower. We call it zucchini in Australia. Beautiful flower. And the bees come, right? The bees come and they'll feed off the flower and then feed the flower of the apple. So it has its own pollination around here, its own pollination from the bees. So the bees will be around here feeding off the courgettes, and then we'll get a lot more apples. Plus the courgettes will be able to eat them, and because they'll be pollinated by the bees. Can you see how you got to get the whole thing working?
Yeah.
Right? I tell you, I've got to say this. He's passed on, Peter Bennett, right? He was one of my top mentors. He was an Englishman. He was a top horticulturist, right? Okay, from Adelaide. He taught me all this, but I improved it. Anyway, I hope you got a good feedback. Now, just to finish off, this is on our channel. Subscribe to our channel, and you'll be able to access videos every week where we teach you about things like that. And if you do this in your house, you get some magnificent apples. So remember to subscribe now, and all the best for you.